I'm Carmen with Carmen Johnston Gardens, and I wanted to share with you some of my quick and easy tips, what I like to call a 10-minute Thanksgiving centerpiece. I know we all have so much going on, and I love to use my stuff and shove method for a centerpiece. It makes it super fast and easy, and I love to just use plants. Things that you can find at your local garden center, at your local hardware stores. There's all sorts of fabulous selections. But first, I love to put down a really pretty tablecloth. This is, now do not make fun of me. I did not iron it because I'm hoping the humidity is gonna work in our favor, but I like to usually set my tablecloth out a few days in advance and let gravity work on it, and then it'll eventually all fall out. But you don't have to use a tablecloth, but it just always really brightens everything up, and I just thought this was such a pretty color. This is a gorgeous, for our people who are listening on our podcast, this is a beautiful coral linen with a gorgeous apricot runner going down the center, and it's actually sewn into the tablecloth, so it's something that's really pretty. So if you're listening to us on our podcast, be sure to visit our YouTube and you can actually see this gorgeous setup. Okay, so Gunnar, come on in close. I'm gonna show them some of these great plants. I always use odd numbers when I am creating a centerpiece. So I feel like it just helps kind of spread things out and it just looks better. But I always like to use odd numbers in the different collections. Now, so many people stress out about this. Do not stress out about getting a Thanksgiving centerpiece ready. I'm gonna show you just how easy it is. I simply took some cabbages. You can buy these again you can actually buy these at the grocery store and put cabbages in there, but these are actually ornamental cabbages that you can plant in the ground. And I literally just stuffed them inside one of these gorgeous containers. I'll be sure to link some beautiful containers on our blog post so you can see, but this is a beautiful, I would say this diameter is probably about 5 inches on the top and then probably about maybe 5 inches tall, but it's got this gorgeous gold inlay. And I always believe that everyone should own what we call personality-driven containers, because I keep these on hand. I have lots of different sizes. This is what I call my medium, and then I have small, and then I have extra small ones. So that way, this is always my go-to, and I like to use the gold ones because it's so neutral, and gold is a wonderful neutral color that works for any season. It can work for Christmas, it can work for Easter, it can work for New Year's, it can work for July 4th. There's just so many great things, so I like to always have beautiful gold containers. Okay, so I took 3 cabbages, stuffed them inside, top dressed them with some moss, and then look at this beautiful, this is called caramel watermelon heuchera, and I didn't even plant it. Look, just took it out of the pot, put a little plop and drop and put that in there. But look at the beautiful leaves. I mean, the texture of it, it's this gorgeous caramel color, and the colder it gets outside, the hue it's absolutely stunning. This is beautiful. So like I said, if you're listening to us on our podcast, be sure to look at this on our YouTube channel because it's beautiful. And then this is what I like to call our supermarket solution. I simply found some gorgeous roses, and I put them in the shape of a triangle and then added one in the center, and it just looks nice and clean and easy. And now I'm just gonna put all of this together and lay it out on the table and then layer in some other fun things. So I'll start with a cabbage in the center. And this is traditionally usually how I set up a centerpiece, is I always kind of evenly space out the larger plant or the larger floral arrangement, like that. And now I'm just gonna layer in the caramel heuchera, and I usually zigzag these across the table just to kind of give it some depth and dimension. Now, there's no particular place, you just make it look pretty. It doesn't have to be perfect. And as you can see, I have one more heuchera on this side than I do on the other, which is perfectly fine. Then I'm gonna take my little rosebud collections and then just nestle these in throughout the arrangement and down the table. And like I said, anything works well at the supermarket. I always just try to find that color hue that I know will work well with what I have going on the table. And I'm simply gonna place these here. Let me add one there. I always have one little tiny happy anchoring each end. It just makes it look really pretty. Okay, the next thing is always be on the lookout for things that are growing on the side of the road or in your neighbor's garden. Now, this is one of my favorites. It's called Pyra canthus. Look at this beautiful orange berry. Now, this is a mean plant, okay? So beware. And this may be something that you may want to only keep at the adults table because you don't want children touching this, but I think it's fine. We use it all the time, but it's got this gorgeous little tiny berry growing on it. And what I'm gonna do is simply weave it in between the actual tiny vases. And then it's like a little tiny garland. And I like to weave it, just have to be super careful, like I said. And I usually cut the pieces about 2 to 3 feet long, so it's super easy to nestle. And so I think I'm gonna go this way now. And sometimes it can be a little, and it's okay if it actually sits on top of some of the plants. Sometimes I'll use these to, oops, see, it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, I'm just gonna layer this. Let me slide this in on this side. And I think what I may have to do is actually cut this one because it's being kind of stubborn a little bit. But these are my favorite clippers. They're from Japan and they're phenomenal. Okay, so I'm gonna just chunk this piece down below, but I'm just gonna nestle these in between the smaller ones. There we go, that was so much easier to maneuver. And then let me take this piece. And so I cut probably about a total of 6 pieces. And this is just something that's gonna accent the table. I always love to layer in some sort of greenery or something natural in between what I like to call my harder pieces, like the actual vases. It just makes it for a really pretty centerpiece. It just makes it, feels a whole lot softer. Okay, just gonna layer this in between here. Okay. You can see that the roses are starting to fall out, but that's all right. We're just gonna tuck those right back in here. Okay, so we've got that gorgeous Pyra canthus. I think I'm gonna add one more piece right in through there. Let me put those roses back in. They kind of fell out. But here I can show you, I literally put them in the shape of a triangle and put them down in here. And you know what another easy trick is? You can take a zip tie and zip tie those together, and sometimes that'll help them hold in a lot easier. It works a little bit better. Okay, next is I'm gonna add these gorgeous dried limes. I always try to add a contrasting color to our centerpieces because we've got that gorgeous coral color. So I'm just simply gonna nestle these, but these are dried limes, and look at, and they smell delicious. But I'll layer these all throughout, and literally just taking handfuls of them and just creating different little pockets of them. There's no particular way that you have to place them, but I am meandering all the way down the table and just kind of scattering them throughout the different pots. All throughout here. Okay, let me go to this end. But you always want to add things that add interesting, different textures to your centerpieces. Let me just add a few in through here. Okay, so that way everybody can see what we have going on both sides of the table. Next are these gorgeous little tiny dried pine cones. You can pick these up at your local craft store, or you can order them online, and we'll be sure to have all of these different resources listed. But see, I'm simply just going to kind of nestle these all throughout here, and it just adds, like I said, it's just a part of the natural texture that we have going on the table. That's super important. But look at how simple and fast this was. So if you don't have Pyra canthus, just go out and find all kinds of different things that you have, like pampas grass could work, there's millet could work, there's all sorts of different things that could work for what's layering. You could use magnolia, you could use smilax, but anything that layers in between would be a beautiful texture. And then we've got the different pine cones. Now, if you're entertaining during the day, you know, you don't have to worry about doing candles, but if I was doing this at night, I would enter in some different candles just to kind of help it glow and make it look prettier. But you've got a super simple, easy centerpiece. Again, I just used the heuchera, and then I used the different roses, and you don't have to use roses. You could use anything that you find at the supermarket that looks really pretty, and I've got the cabbages and layered it all out, and look how fast and easy, and you've got a gorgeous, simple centerpiece for Thanksgiving. Now, when you're done with this will last inside for, I would say, probably about 4 or 5 days, but no longer than inside. It needs lots of sunshine. But I'll simply take these outside, and if I have more guests coming, I'll leave them in the pots, but just make sure they get some sunshine. But then if you want, you can plant these in the ground. These are the heuchera, which is Heuchera. That actually comes back every year, and I love to use all of these different plants in our container garden mixes. So there's lots of different ways that you can use the different plants besides in your centerpiece. So you get more bang for your buck. Okay, let me just show you real quick how anytime I'm setting the table, I also keep everything kind of ready to go on the side. I kind of prep this for the night before, but I'm just gonna show you some of the beautiful things of what we use. These are the gorgeous rattan chargers that I love to use. It always helps to, you know, like create this just gorgeous extra layer on the table. And then this is my Juliska. This was a gift that I gave to myself a few years after we got married, but this is the berry and thread pattern. But I'll simply layer this on top, just like this. And then this is the beautiful bamboo. You can also find this online, and this is actually not that expensive, but I would simply just set these up. You know, the fork, let me get these on this side, the fork and the knives, but it just makes it, and these are super easy to wash too. They're in the dishwasher. They're dishwasher safe, so they're perfectly fine. And then, let's see, I need one more little tiny small fork on this side for my salad fork. And then I'm gonna layer a beautiful napkin, and let me show you how I love to do a napkin fold. This is one of my go-to napkin folds. I think everyone should have one, but I simply have it in a square, and then I fold it in like that, turn it over, and then I would adorn it with like a little pine cone and then a place card. And you can imagine once you have all of this set up, that's how easy it is. So you could do this, like I said, a few days in advance, and then that way you're ready to go for Thanksgiving. But make sure before you do this, give them a really good drink of water, and that way you shouldn't have to water when you're inside at all. Okay, well, I hope I've given you some good tips for Thanksgiving, and remember, don't stress out, enjoy the holiday, and we hope you have a good holiday and Thanksgiving.